everyone. Diana with Orlando Lady Boss here, and I am with Jacky Bibliowcz, and you are the chapter committee chair with SIGGRAPH. Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do with SIGGRAPH? Actually, you know what? Start off with tell our audience a little bit exactly what SIGGRAPH is.
Absolutely. So it's a bit of a long story, but there's the official name is ACM SIGGRAPH, and it's a full acronym. You have ACM, which is the Association of Computing Machinery. It's a large society that is built to promote and educate people about computing. And it has many special interest groups, about 35 SIGs. And we are SIGGRAPH, so the special interest group, computer graphics and interactive techniques.
All right, wonderful. And then what's your role within SIGGRAPH?
So ACM SIGGRAPH does a number of things, 2 conferences every year. We're here at SIGGRAPH, the biggest one. But we also like to have people do events around the world. And so my committee manages the chapters, which are the local organizations that run events that are in the spirit of SIGGRAPH worldwide.
Okay, and so there's local chapters everywhere. In fact, there's an Orlando chapter, and we've talked about that before. So how can people participate at the local chapter level?
There's many ways. The first one, of course, is to go to the events. And events are run. So ACM and ACM SIGGRAPH and the chapters are all volunteer organizations. So these are very passionate individuals creating events that are for the enjoyment and education of people who are interested in computer graphics and interactive techniques. So your first level of involvement is to participate in the events. They're a lot of fun. They're very varied. You can go from a technical talk to a screening of computer animation, or in education, some training on software. Very fun. The next level then is to talk to the leadership of the chapter and see if there's anything you can provide there. These chapters have websites, they need sometimes work there, creating marketing material for their events, or even helping put an event together. Those are many ways you can get involved.
And so what type of professional are you looking for coming into a SIGGRAPH chapter?
Well, that's the beauty about ACM SIGGRAPH, because we specialize in computer graphics and interactive techniques. We bridge the gamut between art and science. People who are welcome at SIGGRAPH include people who do computer art, animators, people who work on computer displays, who work on computer hardware for graphics, people who write software for rendering, even people who study visual perception and try to figure out how displays affect our eyesight and how we can work with the way our eyes work to develop better displays.
Wonderful, that's very cool. So there really is a lot of ways, a lot of different types of people that can participate in find SIGGRAPH and this organization useful as a professional organization.
Absolutely.
So how has SIGGRAPH changed in maybe the last 5 or 10 years since you've been involved in the organization?
I think SIGGRAPH is in a transition, right? It used to be that SIGGRAPH was a place where you would come to see a $50,000 piece of equipment that could run the $25,000 software that you would use to build a movie, right? That sort of stuff is now commodity. The software's free, the computers are very cheap, and now we're seeing the rise of augmented realities, virtual realities, mixed realities. So we've transitioned from being like a very niche community to being something that everybody wants to work with, and we're actually seeing new niches pop up. So 3D printing is one of them, mixed realities, as I mentioned, is another. And so SIGGRAPH is just trying to embrace all of that.
So any type of way where maybe art and science kind of intersect with each other, those are the types of...
Exactly. As long as there's a computer involved in there, then we like to do that.
Wonderful. So on Orlando Lady Boss, we're all about the ladies, and so what have you seen within SIGGRAPH? What is SIGGRAPH doing to make sure that they're bringing more women into these technology fields?
I think in SIGGRAPH we're fairly lucky in that we're not just technology but also art, so there has been a balance in that sense, although it is true that most technology is run by men and maybe there's more women involved in the art side. But in the 10 years, 15 years that I've been involved with SIGGRAPH, I think that's changed. I've seen a lot more women coming in through the computer sciences and technology. In fact, the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award for this year is a woman, Jessica Hodgins.
Awesome.
And she's also been heavily involved with ACM SIGGRAPH. She's a director, and she's currently running for president of the organization.
Now, are you seeing that there are kind of gendered places within the industry? I think you said like the women maybe traditionally have been on the art side, and
I think there's more women on the art side and less women on the technical side, but it's been a mix. Like, if we look at this year's conference, Denise is the chair for the VR Village. She's been the chair for 3 years. Denise Quesnel. We've had, since I've been volunteering as a student volunteer, we've had student volunteer women who take leadership roles. This year, the student volunteer committee chair is and I think she's a SCAD student. She's playing an active role in SIGGRAPH as well.
So you're seeing more women just stepping up and wanting to participate within SIGGRAPH, and so that's helping influence what the conference looks like, I'm assuming?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had women conference chairs before. So last year, in 2016, Mona Castro was the conference chair. Rebecca Streller, who's also been involved with SIGGRAPH many years, she was conference chair some time ago. We also have started a Women in CG panel that happens every year at SIGGRAPH and SIGGRAPH, so twice a year. And that's been one of the most attended events for the International Resources Committee, who is currently headed by a woman as well.
Wonderful.
So there's plenty of participation.
Yeah, and there are events that are geared specifically, like you said, the women in CG. And I think I saw there was one women in visual effects this year too. And so there are women-specific events. Now, are some of these types of events translating into some of the more in the local chapters? Are you seeing events that are maybe catered towards women in some chapters at all?
I don't have visibility into a lot of those chapter events, but what I can tell you is when I run my chapters workshop here at the conference, we do get a lot of women who are chapter leaders, and they're just as active as some of the other. Yeah, I mean, they're just as active.
They're just as active. So everybody is putting their own spin based on what their experiences are. So
there's also, even at a larger level, ACMW is the women's side of ACM.
Oh, okay.
And they have chapters worldwide. And this year, ACM SIGGRAPH has a seat on that council.
Awesome.
And it came from a volunteer in the International Resources Committee, who is a Brazilian professor of STEM. She teaches computer science.
Perfect. Do you have advice for other men out there who want to promote diversity and be more inclusive within their workspaces and professional organizations?
Yeah, sure. So if you're trying to attract talent in other minorities, then one thing you can do, and I heard this from a friend that they're applying in their organization, is anytime you have an open position, you want to make sure you interview at least one candidate from each of the diversity groups you want to hit. So at least one woman and any other group that you're interested in. That's one way to do it. You have to also create an environment that makes women feel comfortable, right? You have to be respectful. I know sometimes in the lunchroom it's funny to talk about certain topics, blah blah. But once women are involved in the conversation, then maybe just be aware of them, right? It's not necessarily the right place to have these conversations.
Yeah, I think that those are all really good ways to help, because it's not just about bringing them in. It's how do you keep them there, and if they don't feel like they're being included, and there are plenty of ways I think that people can include each other.
That's right.
So, do you have what advice would you give yourself at 16?
When I was 16?
Like, if you thinking back where you are now, what would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself? I would tell myself to seize opportunities when they come by. Good luck is being ready to receive an opportunity when it comes by. So be prepared and make sure you see an opportunity, like focus on the opportunity. And also to be persistent, because sometimes doors will shut, but they only shut so that another bigger one can open for you.
I love that, and I think that that's great advice no matter who you are. Well, thank you so much for your time, Jacky. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you for
Bye.
having me.